and then get back to work.
Good day to get a taco at some point, right? Well, that's any day, wouldn't it be? Just about any day is good for a taco.
Man, they eat so good up there. Their training room they got, it's they don't lack or want for anything.
Can you just walk into the Jones Center and just order up a taco plate, or is there just a specific amount of things that you can ask for, or specials of the day? You know, for all the I've been inside plenty of the buildings with the athletes. Never been inside the Jones Center for a meal. But I could only imagine what it would have been like for you, Matt, if the Jones Center was there when you were quarterbacking Arkansas. Every meal would have been.
We had
what did you say, like 6 tacos in one setting?
When I was there, we had a card for Brough. There was a Brough Hall up there, and they breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They had times that they served all those throughout the year, and you got like 20 meals a week with one card. Like it, so they took care of us. You know, we had food.
Did you still bring your own Topo Chico?
Topo Chico.
I don't know. I know that was a brand 20 years ago, but I'd never heard of it here in the States. Did you drink a lot of the bubbly water back then too, Matt? Because this is like a
what year is this?
This is a thing that's really become popular, like in the last, I think, like 3 years. Just the growth of seltzers, and I don't even just mean the alcoholic seltzers.
All Sport, that was the thing back then.
Dude, you remember the
All Sport?
Was that really carbonated All Sport, or did it just have was there something inside of that made it feel like it was bubbling? Because I wasn't quite sure.
And then you do the Arnold Palmer, but you do unsweet tea with lemonade. You can't do sweet tea with lemonade too sweet, but so you do about a 70-30 mix. That was where it's at.
You got it figured out, man. But All Sport, like they don't make that anymore. That was that was a unique.
Went out with Pepsi Clear.
Drink.
I think they were in the portal together. They thought they had greener pastures, and they never got picked up.
I felt like it was a true competitor to Gatorade and to Powerade, especially when it had that little. It was like
it had a little carbonation.
A little bit of a carbonation bite. Yeah, but it's gone the way of the Pac-12. All Sport will be. Can you imagine that 20 years from now, when we'll be 40 years away from All Sport's death? Well, I think it was probably after that. 45 years away from the death of Crystal Pepsi, we'll be talking about. You remember that day when the Pac-12 totally died, and you heard some crazy ideas about the Bay Area schools joining the Atlantic Coast Conference and the Mountain West subsuming.
Doesn't it feel like everybody's just real greedy right now? Like they don't know what they want, but they're just trying to collect as much as they can. Like they're just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out later, but come over here.
It's greediness, yeah, that's part of it. But I also think it's just a matter of the so-called keeping up with the Joneses. If my neighbor gets,
you don't want to fall too far behind.
Yeah, you got to keep up with what you view your competition as. And I mean, that's really what this seems to be about. It's greed, yes, but I don't know where, you look at professional sports, you know where the money goes. As far as profits, the money goes to the owners. They make a healthy profit. That's where the money goes. When you're talking about TV money and ticket sales and merchandising and everything, yeah, plenty of it goes to the players, filter down to the other employees, but in the end, what you're left with goes to the ownership. College sports is not that. There is no, owner that is making money and buying a 45-foot yacht based upon that. You know what I mean? So it just seems like, well, if my neighbor, and it's not my neighbor, it's like a school like Oregon or Washington, and they get a media deal presented to them that's $20 million a year, or might have been less than that, and they know that a school that they're still competing with for football players on the West Coast now, with UCLA and USC making, $60 million a year, then they're going to do what they can to try to close that gap. And they're a year late. They're a year after USC and UCLA. They're going to be making half of what those two schools and the rest of the Big Ten makes until 10 years from now. But I agree with you. Like there is greed aspect to it, but I don't know if it's just greed or a matter of looking at business balance sheets and saying we're supposed to be in competition with that, meaning the Big Ten, the SEC. We're supposed to be in the same class, Power Five, all of that. And when you're making half the money that school is making from media deals, you kind of start to see, you know what, maybe we're really not competition to those guys right now.
Well, the weird thing is it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters what TV market and how the size of your city and
Right.
it's like SMU's being talked about getting picked. They're going to be big time again because the Dallas TV market. You know, it's like what have they done? But
And is there truthfully how many people inside the entire Dallas metroplex care greatly about Southern Methodist?
they start going
University
11-2
football?
every year, 10-2 every year. They'll care. You know,
It takes some. How are you going to be able to get there, right?
Yeah, if you got a collective, apparently they got some big pockets. You get the right coach in there, and you get one little transfer portal, get the right quarterback. I mean, what division are they in right now? You know, like if they're going to the Big 12, the Big 12's up for grabs.
Well, I mean that's a school that hasn't played major college football since the death of the Southwest Conference, in which SMU was the reason why it died with that whole death penalty.
Didn't June Jones had him going for a couple years there where they were winning 9-10 games. He after he left Hawaii, he went to SMU, or it was one of those.
Well,
he had him going for a little bit.
I know, but when I see Southern Methodist potentially as being like a, you know, we were talking Cal and Stanford maybe joining the ACC. Okay, well these are big athletic departments. Then you see SMU potentially as an extra partner involved in this. You're like, whoa, now wait a moment. Now.
That's the ACC. That's where they're talking about. Yeah,
that's just another. SMU is another version of Duke. You know, a good small private school.
Now the thing too, are all these schools taking their is this just going to be football leagues only? Because you look at it and you think, well, Arkansas, I think we're safe. You know, when you're saying, hey, did Arkansas be in out of the SEC or any? Arkansas has a baseball program. They have a basketball program. They have a football program. They're the only show in the state. I think they're going to be all right. And there's no professional. That is the professional team is the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah, and right now there's no movement to make these just football only leagues. That's coming from columnists, from broadcasters. And I've been kicking that around for the last couple of years. It's just prognosticating. It's just looking down the road. You know, I mean, Greg Sankey is on Feinbaum yesterday, and he's talking about, well, we've got to potentially change the selection process for the 12-team college football playoff. He's looking 1 year ahead right now. I think when you look 5 or 6 years ahead, Matt, I think there's a good chance that something like that could happen. We touched on that yesterday briefly, like the idea of a 32-team super league of college football, and I don't know how exactly you would pick the schools that are involved in that, whether it be based on market value or market size or revenue or a level of success over a defined period of time. I don't know how you figure that out, but I do think that eventually that's the direction it's going in. Now, I don't know if you do 32, you do 64, or what. Because right now you got 65 major college football programs. Pretty sure it's 65. So if you can do 64, and then you have two leagues, essentially. Champions play each other in the end. Right? That's what we do now with the NFL, although that's a 32-team league. Anyway, it's just all of these things just seem like they're up in the air because college football is changing so dramatically. And then there's
you lose a little bit of the meaning of the game if you don't have champions play each other. You know, you lose the cachet, you lose the appeal if it's just like, all right, these are just because they have name, we're going to let these teams play each other. But when you have the Big 10 champ playing the SEC champ, the Big 12 champ playing the ACC champ, you want to tune in. You want to see who wins that game.
Yeah, and that's why and I mean, in cases today, you do see league champions play against each other. I mean, quite often that's who you see in the championship.
In the playoffs,
in the playoffs anyway. But it used to be fun when you knew that the Rose Bowl
that was the big deal, right?
Big 10 versus
USC versus Penn State,
Well, it went along with the tradition of it. And look, I mean, people have been making jokes about the quote-unquote traditions of the bowls now. Well, I mean, traditions have been thrown out the window. The word tradition and college football, I'm not sure if they belong together much longer. You got your individual traditions, your family traditions, but as far as like the school traditions are going, they're all changing. It's growing in some sense in the SEC because you're going to get some new rivals or old rivals coming back. So it's like everything old is new again. You know what, though? 20 years from now, 40 years from now, there'll be new traditions built. That's what happens. A tradition isn't a tradition when it first starts. So we'll see what happens 20, 40 years from now. But I'll tell you what's going on for the next 3 hours or so. Halftime here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Wednesdays have changed up a little bit. Clay Henry's with us for a couple of hours. We get Clay at 12 and Grant Hall in just a moment. Also, I want to remind you that it's lunchtime, so get over to CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers, either of their two locations. When you are looking for the best burgers and the best French fries and the best shakes anywhere in the state of Arkansas, it's CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers at the Russellville location, Arkansas Avenue exit, and at the Fayetteville location, Weddington Road exit. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And since you just heard about CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers, I know you're drooling right now down your cheek. Stay with us. Halftime is back with Grant Hall after this.
That you never be alone. Touches like a tourist. You know when you are home. It's not that I'm a purist. It's just I'd rather be alone.
Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
You're home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, College at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot, you know.
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, this is Abby with Davis Floor Covering. Whether it's a remodel or new construction, let Davis Floor Covering help you with all your flooring needs and more. We carry top brands such as MSI, the largest flooring distributor in North America, with hardwoods, luxury vinyl plank, tile, solid surface countertops, ledger panels, waterproof wood, laminate, and more. Stop by our showrooms in Fort Smith and Tahlequah. Call us at 479-452-4808 to get started today. That's 452-4808 for Davis Floor Covering.
Are you feeling the heat this summer with soaring electric bills? Upgrade your AC system with Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric this August and experience the ultimate comfort in your home. This month, receive up to $500 off on attic insulation when you upgrade your AC. That's right, proper attic insulation can significantly reduce your energy bills, keeping your home cooler and more efficient. Worried about the cost? We've got you covered. With approved credit, enjoy payments as low as $99 a month. Picture this. Lower energy bills can help you cover the cost of your new system. Now that's a win-win situation. So don't wait. Call Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric now and save with a new AC system and installation this August. Say goodbye to high electric bills and hello to ultimate comfort. Visit GoPaschal.com now and schedule your free estimate. With approved credit, exclusions apply. See dealer for details. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric.
It's hard enough to find a quality used vehicle and even harder to get the financing. Well, look no more. RVR Auto can do both. They have a large selection of pre-owned vehicles and offer in-house financing with payments tailored to your needs. Cars, vans, trucks, all makes and models, and RVR Auto is locally owned. RVR Auto, where you aren't just a customer, you're part of the family. And they also sell used vehicle parts for all makes and models, even those hard to find. Check out their inventory at rvrauto.net or give them a call at 918-626-8111. RVR Auto, be a part of the family.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has been serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma since 1964. That's over 50 years of commercial and residential services from their two locations on Zero Street in Fort Smith. Arkansas Glass and Mirror offers custom-cut tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and plate glass. Whether commercial entry doors or home glass projects, remember Arkansas Glass and Mirror. Online at arkansasglassandmirror.com or give them a call, 646-4300.
Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfasts bake goodness into your morning. Pick any two handcrafted favorites for only $5. Choose syrupy French toast dips, a made-from-scratch biscuit stacked with sausage and eggs, or a biscuit and gravy. With Hardee's 2 for $5 mix and match breakfasts, you get double the breakfast goodness for just $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making. These items only. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above can make that driveway and fence look brand new with a good power washing. You don't have to put up with those unwanted pests either. Call today and get started with the flea, tick, and mosquito treatment to start enjoying the outdoors again. More than just a mowing service. They're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea, tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Grant Hall is with us here on Halftime. Appreciate him every Wednesday. And I told Grant we'd get him out by 11:30 because Dave Van Horn has a press conference today to recap the summer. Fall ball will be approaching soon. Grant, good to have you on as always. How you doing today?
Howdy, boys. Yeah, doing well. Thanks. Get a little bit of rain here in northwest Arkansas, so that's nice. Try to avoid the big storms if we can.
Yeah, and you don't have to be at a 9 o'clock practice viewing either. So, yeah. No, it's not like you have to worry about sleeping in anyway, and you get 9 o'clock practice viewings the next couple of days. Anything standing out from watching practice the last couple of days? We've heard from the receivers, defensive backs, special teams. What stands out to your eyes in the windows that you've been able to watch?
I would say the receivers, just, that's kind of what your eyes are drawn to when they do these early practices, and they weren't hitting that much yet. They went a little bit heavier yesterday, but I tell you, man, they got some guys, and the coach even talked about it. The people saw an opportunity to come in and play, and I was just talking to Mike Irwin a minute ago about this. We've been impressed by guys like Armstrong and Dozier and Tesla and the 6'7" kid from Detroit. I mean, it's on Matt. You would have loved throwing to these guys. I mean, but then at the same time, you've got 4 or 5 running backs they like, and you got a quarterback that can run. So I'm going to be really interested in how many times Dan Enos throws in a given game, and it's kind of a nice problem to have, really.
Oh, this offense, I think, is going to be fun to watch this year. You look at all the talent on the outside, like you're saying, that came in, and I'm interested to see him. I'm interested to see him live that first week. How much do you think we should tackle this year? I know he said he's going to tackle twice, kind of seeing that, Western Carolina and Kent State can kind of be those preseason games for us.
I just don't think many teams do it anymore, Matt. Even, Sam Pittman was talking the other day about Tuesday and Wednesdays. won't be like they used. I can remember when Tuesdays and Wednesdays were always full pads.
At least for the first 4 weeks, yeah. At least to about conference play, yeah.
But keeping people on the field, obviously, it's a big deal, and they seem to be meshing over there. I think the defensive backs and receivers are enjoying going against each other. They got some great battles every day. I know they like the defensive front better than what Arkansas had last year. I just don't think you can really know until the first game, or maybe even later. You got the crucible coming up with those LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Alabama. I think it is in a row, and all four of those out of state. So again, will these receivers, for example, be able to get separation in a way that they weren't a lot of times last year? What will it look like against guys like that?
All signs right now seem to be pointing to Andrew Armstrong as your leading receiver potentially. Sam Pittman's talking about him a lot. KJ's talking about him a lot. The defensive backs are talking about him. His teammates are talking about him. His speed, his size. I guess the only question is, and he tried to point this out yesterday, and I think he's right about this to a point. Football is football. Doesn't matter the level that you play it at necessarily. You can make plays, but there's a different level of physicality. And that's the thing you always wonder about coming into the SEC. And some guys answer the question positively. It doesn't always work out that way. I guess that's the question about Armstrong coming into this season.
Yeah, from Texas A&M Commerce, and they got him from Hillsdale, and I think 7 of the guys are 6'2" or taller, I read. And then you've got Satania, who's not he's like 5'11", I think, maybe 5'11", but with that blazing speed, and he's ready for a great year. I think he'll have a great year if he stays healthy. So no shortage of options there in the receiver core.
It is a sense, though, that, and Matt, you pointed this out, you're right, too. I think the offense, at least in our minds, is ahead of the defense this year, for now. And I don't think we'll have a sense, truthfully, until, well, maybe we will over the first couple of games. We should have looked back at, Cincinnati game last year, seeing all those receivers running free in the secondary, and I don't know, that's a troubling sign. So maybe we'll have a little bit of a sense, I think, maybe in that Kent State BYU game, but at least here, from the 30,000-foot view, 3 weeks away from kickoff, it feels like offensively they're ahead than they are defensively, and maybe that's just because you have more known quantities on that side.
Yeah, I think so. And then if the defense does really well in the first few games, it'll be a pleasant surprise to a lot of people, and then we'll see what they do against those teams I mentioned earlier.
Grant, I'm a Hudson Clark fan. I think he's going to do well this year. How do you see our D-backs? I know it starts up front, and I think with our ball control on offense, and then it starts up front, I think our defensive numbers have to get better this year.
Yeah, McLaughlin has done really well. Lorando Johnson, Snacks, whatever you want to call him. And I agree with you about Hudson Clark, who's up to 188, I think he is now, which means he must have played at 176 last year because he's supposed to be up 12 pounds. They listed him at 182 last year. Maybe he wasn't quite that. And he said the other day when he came in that he's having a little bit of trouble keeping the weight on. And these, obviously you're going through the early practices and the heat and so forth. But, there's a guy that just frankly wasn't big enough for some collisions last year, but he can play the pass really well, and you go back to that game where he got the 3 interceptions. He seems comfortable. They all seem I think there's this sense on the team that they can't wait to show people how good they are because, most people are predicting them to be kind of middling, right? 6, 7, 8 wins, something like that, and I think they probably think they're going to do better than that.
Have you put pen to paper on how you think this season may turn out? I mean, I only did it during SEC Media Days because I just wanted to pick what I thought the standings might look like by the end of the season. I'm going to do this all over again once we, just before the first game. But I see Arkansas, I see a path to 9 wins. You get an upset somewhere, and I mean a major upset somewhere, 10 wins not out of the realm of possibility. And it'd be a surprise, but I do see a path to 9 wins. Where do you see, maybe like a high point for this team this year.
Yeah, people, it's funny. They asked me on the golf course. I just say 8 wins because, that seems sort of logical. But if you can somehow get through that 4-game thing we talked about, 2-2, like if you beat an A&M or an LSU somehow, or you beat, and I think they can beat Ole Miss. Alabama, of course, who knows? Alabama, there's one thing about Arkansas this year that Alabama and Georgia don't have, and that's an established quarterback so far, right? I mean, you got to figure that the ones on campus at Alabama and Georgia are really good. They would have been recruited there. But Arkansas's got this guy with experience who's really good in KJ. And really, guys, I think Criswell has looked pretty good, and even Singleton. They were talking yesterday about how his accuracy had improved just in the short time here. So, if you catch lightning in a bottle and keep people healthy, but if somehow they get through those 4, 2-2, then, yeah, maybe it's going to look better than people think.
All right, you got DVH in a couple of minutes. What do you want to ask him? What are you going to ask Dave? Because I know you will ask a question.
Well, I don't know. First of all, we can talk about Benintendi getting his 25th double last night, and Stanek going 3-1 for Houston. And let's see, Stefan. I think Stefan has a 2.92 ERA now, and McCann's playing some for this really surprising Baltimore team. He got 2 RBIs, I think, last night. He's up to 222. And then, I know these are guys from the past, but today Jalen Beeks starts against the St. Louis Cardinals, and what a great time to do that because they've gotten a total of 2 runs in their last 2 games. So, they called him back up from Tampa Bay. I'll let Dave handle all the current team part, but I like to follow these guys and see how they do.
Speaking of the Cardinals, plenty of good seats available these days at Busch Stadium for the best fans in baseball. I wouldn't show up and watch a last-place team either. And, people stay away from last-place teams in droves. You just got to make sure you don't get there next year because this can't be if you keep losing, that's how you turn a fan base apathetic. I can't imagine that happens with the St. Louis Cardinals, but they look apathetic now, and I can't blame them.
Phil, 2 nights ago, they left 15 on base, didn't score. And last night, Michaelis comes back from this rather long layoff, and he's holding them to 1 run in 7 innings. He's thrown 80 pitches, gives up a triple, and they take him out of a 1-1 ball game. And, of course, the bullpen did what it usually does and doesn't hold it. And, I was glad to hear Al Roboski say this was Michaelis' game, leave him in there. They're 11 games out. Let the guy give it. I couldn't believe they took him out, and of course it went south.
We'll leave it there, Grant. Dave's about to step into that Zoom, so appreciate your time. Looking forward to doing it again next week. Thank you.
See you. Thanks.
Thanks, Grant.
Grant Hall joining us on Wednesdays on Halftime. Let's open the McClarty Daniel hotline for calls and texts, 877-377-6963. You can visit any of McClarty Daniel's 6 locations in Springdale or Bentonville, online as well at McClartyDaniel.com. Yeah, I've been apathetic about the Pirates for a long time for the same reason that Cardinals fans aren't showing up right now. Because why? You love the game, yes? You love the game, but that's hard-earned money. Absolutely hard-earned money. Has there been a team that you have lived and died with that lost your love because it just stopped caring very much? I'll ask you that question as we go throughout the show and come right back after this quick break.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey folks, it's Joey and Ryan here. What's up? It's summertime. Hey, we got some great Jeep incentives going on right now. 2.9% financing, rebates, discounts on Jeep, Grand Cherokee, on select models. We've got 1.9 incentivized rate plus $4,000 rebate.
So for all you new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, make that beautiful drive to Heber Springs during the Make This the Summer event.
Or check us out on the web at redriverdodge.com or Red River. We deliver. God bless.
This is halftime.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime. Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I got in an argument with a sports fan. It was a Cardinals fan about this very thing a couple of years ago. Told me that, and this is when we did a segment on the show, how bad are the Pirates today, and I openly talked about. I was joking about this, just being my normal sarcastic self, that I was going to shop around for a new Major League Baseball team to call my own because the Pirates weren't worth it anymore. And keep in mind, up until about the age of 18, when I started working for baseball teams, I didn't miss many games at all on TV,
diehard,
radio, at the stadium, would read about. I was absolutely diehard. And that was even after they let Bonds go and Bonilla left and they traded a couple of the other guys away. But then, 25 years later, you start to think to yourself, why do you want to put that effort in for something that isn't going to treat you at all with the same respect? You can still love the sport, but I just didn't want to throw money at it anymore. And you only have 24 hours in a day, and our time is valuable, and I wasn't going to give it to a team that didn't deserve it, at least not in my eyes.
When they got rid of Bonds, or they weren't able to keep him, or whatever happened, did they get anything worth for him? Why did
they didn't get a damn thing from him.
Man,
you didn't get anything when you lost free agents. Then now, I think you get some kind of a compensatory.
But they
pick.
couldn't re-sign him. They let him walk.
Well, he wasn't going to
like a Shohei Ohtani.
He just wasn't going to sign with them.
Yeah,
they couldn't offer. They couldn't afford him. And he didn't want to play there anymore. He wanted to go to San Francisco. That's what free agency is about. Good for him for being able to do that. It's just they never put money ahead, forth to put a good team together. Cardinals fans, you're not there. You're not there. You were division champions last year. Stink this year. Things might change next year. I'm not telling you to give up on your team. I don't blame you for not showing up now or not watching the Bally's telecasts or anything. Because why would you want to put that effort forth? Unless it's just, I got to have a ball game on. All right. Watch your team. 877-377-6963 for our McClarty Daniel hotline. Dan in Mount Ida says he's no longer a Raiders fan. He was a Bo Jackson, Howie Long fan.
Lyle Alzado.
Yeah, sick of mediocrity. That's what they are. It's exactly right. Nathan he doesn't root for Washington football anymore. He doesn't like the name change, Snyder's damage. Well, he doesn't own them anymore. He doesn't own them anymore. I guess maybe he'll root for him if they change their name back to the Redskins, which I guess they were kicking around doing. JT in Laurel, Mississippi says the Red Sox the last 2 years. I thought the Red Sox actually are having a halfway decent season?
I think they're all still above 500 in that division.
3 games over 500, but in last place. They would be in second place in the Central. They're in last place in the East. Let's go to the phones on a McClarty Daniel hotline. We got Bobby in Cave Springs. Bobby, how are you, man?
I am doing fine. Had other things to talk about, but this is the anniversary of a momentous event. Have you ever heard of eating for the cycle?
Of course I've heard eating for the cycle. I've had this conversation with some people of the baseball team a few times, but I think we all have a different definition of what eating for the cycle is. I've seen photos and video evidence of when you did this, Bobby. So where did this happen, and what exactly did you eat?
It was 13 years ago tonight, and I did it at Arvest Ballpark for a Naturals game. The rules are you have to start eating it at the first pitch of the top of the inning, and you have to have it finished by the last pitch of the bottom of the inning. So the time in between the bottom and the top of the inning doesn't count. And the person that's doing it has to get their own food, and it can't be drink. It has to be something that's more solid than liquid. So a Frosty would count when a chocolate shake doesn't.
So beer doesn't count in this either?
So you get like a bratwurst one inning, then get nachos the next inning, then get like a funnel cake the next inning?
And you got to finish it by the end of the inning. Keep in mind.
That's about $300, huh?
An inning could be 6 pitches, and then you better shove those nachos down your gullet. I mean, just like that. Otherwise, your attempt at an achievement is over.
Well, and the pitcher, I picked a Monday night, and the pitcher worked fast. But the menu went like this. The first inning had a barbecue sandwich, and then a funnel dog in the second inning, fries in the third, then a chicken sandwich, cotton candy, chicken Ringos. I decided to have a cheeseburger in the 7th inning because of the 7th inning stretch. I would have more time then. Then the 8th had a hot dog, and then I finished it off with ice cream in the 9th inning.
You think you could do that? That was pre-shot clock. You think you could do that now that the shot clock's in force?
Oh, you know what? You got a good point.
It's the
this
eating clock now.
But this game moved really fast. Eric Edelstein, that was the general manager for the Naturals, he was chuckling during the night because the Naturals pitcher, he didn't take much time. Well, he got the ball, he was ready to go, and it moved along at a pretty good clip.
So yeah, Eric's been the AAA general manager in Reno for a long time now. Were you chuckling or were you just groaning? Because that couldn't have felt good.
Well, I got ready for it. I almost got hungry during the day before, but we picked it up.
What strategies? Tell me, how obnoxious. What Oh, sorry, Bobby. What strategies would you use to make yourself supremely hungry the day before eating for the cycle?
You just don't eat. You have a light supper the night before, and then most of the day you don't eat much. Go ahead and chew some gum so that you don't start gnawing some food, so that you're ready when the lights come on and it's time for that first pitch, and you can get this done. It went pretty good. We got the rules from somebody either at the Twins or Detroit, one of those two cities. The guy had done it up there. So we got the rules, and people wanted me to do it. They wanted me to do it at a Razorback game, but I didn't figure I could afford that. So we did it at the Naturals game, and you want to do it on a night. The person that's doing it has to buy their own food. You can get it from vendors walking by, but people can't bring you stuff. So needed to sit near the concession stand, and so you could have it in between the bottom of the inning and the top of the inning to go get whatever it was you wanted to do next.
Bobby, I can only imagine what it would be like to stand next to you, man, especially during the 7th inning stretch, which I imagine is more like a 7th inning puke. Thanks very much, Bobby. It's good to hear from you on the McClarty Daniel hotline.
Barbecue sandwich, chicken sandwich, and cheeseburger and fries, and that's just halfway right there.
There's some ballparks that don't even have 9 things to choose from in the concession
So
stand.
can you eat that? I should ask them. Can you eat fries one inning, and then in the 3rd inning, can you eat fries again, or does it have to be something different each time?
I don't know. I think eating for the cycle should be everything in the stadium.
Take everything on the left side of the menu.
Or you could do what I think Eduardo the Vuvuzuela does, which is screaming for the cycle. Make sure you turn that radio down, please, Eduardo. Otherwise, we'll hear you scream in double time. What's up, Eduardo? You've screamed for the cycle for quite a few years now.
Well, that's exactly right, gentlemen. And I'm going to be screaming more this year. Why wouldn't I be? So I cranked up this morning. How about a little Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers won't back down? Because that's what's going to take in the 4th quarter. We lost, as I said before, we lost 4 games, gentlemen, last year by 3 points or less. That's hard to take, man. And so I sense a hungry fan base. You better be confident. And so, I said this before earlier on a tune. I'll go back in time. I cranked up cool in the game. Get down on it because the fan base is hungry for wins in this program. Not 6 wins, not 7 wins, not 8 wins. 9 or more, baby.
Eduardo, but right now the topic is food. Eating for the cycle. I don't know what you would call it at a football game. Would it be eating all 4 quarters? Would it be? I don't know what exactly you would call it. But what's the most you've eaten at a football game, or at a tailgate, or at an Eduardo the Vuvuzuela in Clarksville football party at his house?
Well, I tell you what, sir. I'll share a little story with you. In 2014. I was in Fayetteville. I sat in the rain all day long. The number 1 game in the country was on our playing field. And, Brandon, as I go back in time, he rolled out, and he hit Cody Walker on a slant. And, man, I'm starting to celebrate, baby. He's crossed, the ruling that day, his body crossed the goal line, but the ball didn't. That was the ruling that day. The ref signaled touchdown, and I seen Coach day. And so you know what? I had a bunch of hot dogs that day on the way home. And when I got home, I just, I had an upset stomach. You know what I mean? Number one team in the country. We haven't beaten Bama. Hadn't come close since. I tell you what, that's hard to take, gentlemen.
I'm sure
so
it
many
is.
rulers.
I'm sure it is,
I tell
Eduardo,
you
and
what-
it's even harder to figure out how to digest a whole bunch of hot dogs, but I think we're right up against it, so I just got to end it right there. And, Eduardo, I want to say thank you for eating on our show. Eduardo the Vuvuzela in Clarksville on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Most of you've ever I got a call. I got a text into my best friend, who was the best man at my wedding. When we had a bachelor party for me in Chicago, we're at a White Sox game, and my friend, whose name is Jack, we didn't call it eating for the cycle, but he ate something every inning. I think he drank something every inning too.
I ate 14 slices of pizza when I was like a junior in high school. I think that's the most slices of pizza I had in a setting, like an hour and a half.
You know what I call that, Matt Jones? An accomplishment.
That's taking a nap.
Let's take a break. We'll wrap up hour number 1 after this.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're replacing a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, we've got you. Plus, follow us on Facebook to enter our Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. It's fun and it's free with great prizes. Think of us next time you have any automotive need and see why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Shop Meadows Lumber, true value for great bargains of the month. Get great deals this month on a variety of top-of-the-line products like 1 quart of synthetic blend Pennzoil motor oil for just $5.99. Pick up a new gas, kerosene, or diesel can by Scepter Smart Control for only $22.99. Make sure to switch out your air filter this season and grab an Allergen Defense air filter by Filtrete for $10.99. Check out the Smarter Hooks utility hook and hanger for just $3.99. DeWalt's 29-piece screwdriver bit set is just $16.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber, true value.
What matters most to your family can now cost less. AOG can help you reduce your energy usage without giving up comfort and reliability. Seal and caulk windows. Change the filter on your furnace. Set your thermostat at 68. At AOGC.com, you'll find lots of energy-saving tips that can be done for little or no cost. While you're there, take advantage of AOG's other money-saving energy efficiency programs. Visit AOGC.com today and get more comfort for less cost.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is making the middle of the week something to look forward to. Wednesdays is Nacho Average Wednesday. Get $1 off all nachos every Wednesday and try the all-new ballpark-style pork nachos. And draft or bottled beers are $1 off. Every Thursday is Throwback Thursday. Enjoy some of the old Cuco's classic platters, just the way you remember them. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hey River Valley, this is Caleb DeWitt with Carco Auto Sales. As many of you know, parts of Fort Smith and Van Buren were recently affected by a hailstorm, and our lot was no exception. Our inventory may have received minor hail damage, but with that comes a major discount. Choose from late model cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, all with thousands off the original price tag. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith, or visit us online at www.buyfromcarco.com.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime.
Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Tell me. Oh, what you gonna do? Do you wanna get down? Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Oh, what you gonna do? You wanna get down? Tell me. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Come on in. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. How you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up off the wall. Tell me, how you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up off the wall. 'Cause I heard all the people saying, get down on it. Come on and get down on it. If you really want it, get down on it. You gotta feel it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Come on and get down on it. Baby, baby.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We were talking about food and eating for the cycle and everything because I found this. This is from the Little League World Series Twitter account. I don't know if this is from a regional championship or if this was just from a previous Little League World Series, but this is definitely an all-time mound conversation with the head coach and some of his kids.
Hey, did I ever tell you the time that my dog ate the rosin bag?
No, but you told us the hot dog story. You told us the hot dog story.
Can you stop? No, you can't say hi to your mom.
Hi, Mom.
Stop. Guys, relax. Look, you did a great job, okay?
Oh, I love it. That's great stuff. I mean, he's out there to go talk strategy with a kid, and what do you think the hot dog story is? And does it involve Eduardo in Clarksville?
What were you like, spaghetti and hot dogs? You know, they take the place there, yeah?
I mean, it's the same idea as you remember that band, the Spaghetti Incident? Did they ever really tell you what the incident was? I don't think they ever did. But there's a band called that.
When we're up there, what Friday we could eat for the cycle. I don't know what you'd call it, but the Little League, they got to have a good menu up there. Eat something each hour of the show.
Oh, at the Cal Ripken Major 70.
You think they have, if they got like whatever the ballpark is, Boston, Ebbetsfield, whatever, like kind of what their main attraction is, you think they got good food up there?
Fenway Franks?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
an LA dog?
A Dodger dog. So
yeah.
That's probably the most famous of the hot dogs, or the Dodger dogs.
Yeah.
I've had those before. They're longer. The coloring doesn't necessarily make it look very appetizing. It's kind of a faded off gray, but it tasted good.
Yeah. Get a Wrigley Field brat. They got, is Wrigley there?
There was a Wrigley Field in Los Angeles.
I guess they wouldn't do old styles though at the Little League World Series, huh?
No, that's only for the parents, and I don't think you can walk into the Cal Ripken Major 70 World Series with an old style. Just better
maybe
crush it in the parking lot and don't let anybody see it.
We all like ketchup on our hot dogs, though. That's one thing we can agree on.
And steaks, absolutely, especially those well-done steaks with ketchup. Nothing better than that. Nothing's better than hour number 2 of halftime. We'll have Clay Henry on with us shortly, and back after this.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
You don't want to see cracks in your pipes or your plumber. Let Western Plumbing get you right for the summer. We tuck in our shirts and work, we're experts. So if things don't blow your way, we can get it to work. Say no to cracking, we'll give you 20 back. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call a nail, give you one. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call a nail, give you one. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah. Western Plumbing, expert drain cleaning service. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, chance of showers and thunderstorms, especially across the north. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be into the mid-80s north, low 90s south. Chance of some showers, some rumble to thunder tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the upper 60s to low 70s, and another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 24 days.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Yes, sir. Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew!
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hello and good afternoon, and welcome back into halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Matt Travis as well. And I think I hear Clay Henry getting on his headset. Yep, pretty sure he's there. There he is. We got you for the next 2 hours, and Clay's with us for the remainder of the show. Clay, what's going on, man? In Fayetteville today, huh?
Technically Lowell.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm in Northwest Arkansas for a couple of days, and I'm excited to be here. visiting my daughter. She's got a new house in Lowell, and she's busy doing principal stuff. This is, I think, school is starting, and she's a new principal for the first time, and I think this is meet the teacher night or something like that, so I'm going to take her to dinner after that. She'd probably be glad to have somebody take her to dinner.
I would think so. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Practice
right.
tomorrow.
It's all the stuff that you got to do before the first week of school starts. That's right. And you get to go to practice tomorrow as well. That's right. You've been able to make it out. You've been out there a couple of times. I know you've talked with some of the coaches as well.
I haven't been to practice.
Not yet, so this will be the first tomorrow.
You know, I talked about coming over, and I just thought, well, I'll wait till they put on pads.
Sure. Well, tomorrow's the first day when they do that.
That's why I'm here, yep.
Good
I
planning.
timed it just right.
It'd be interesting. I'm interested to see who's lining up with the ones on the offensive side and the defensive side, and I'm also I'm excited, kind of, Clay, to see how Dan Enos uses these matchups with our running backs. You know, a lot of 20 personnel, a lot of 22 personnel. What he's going to do to get them in space.
That's right, and I think that all of that is exciting. Probably what I want to watch the most is how those two offensive tackles do, and can they handle Landon Jackson, or if they can't, is Landon Jackson got that that it factor that they've lacked is a outside pass rusher that just changes the flow of the game.
Mm-hmm. I know. I remember, and I only read, but you saw a little bit of in the spring game that the defensive ends kind of wore out the tackles in spring, and there's always it's a double-sided knife, right? It's like, well, all right, great for the defensive ends. That's great. Maybe we got a pass rush that's dangerous, but man, our tackles, they can't stop the end. What's going on here? It's what I always feel about with scrimmages and practices and spring games and everything, and you just never know. Yeah, I guess you have a feeling of what it means. But, yeah, we'll be watching, Kudus at right tackle and Devin Manuel at left tackle. But we won't be watching them because nobody will. The scrimmage is closed on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to watch them tomorrow, though. I get to watch the whole practice, too. So doing some stuff for Hogs Plus, my observations. I'll probably write that later in the day, and they'll turn it and get it out pretty quick. Just doing a lot of different things. I've got some video to tape with Hogs Plus. They're doing a kind of a 25-year anniversary of the '98 team. That kind of, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, they built the new stadium. They closed in. Their success made Coach Broyles feel comfortable about adding all those premium seats in the south end zone.
That was Hog Fever.
Hog Fever.
That was fun to watch. Yeah, that was those were some good players.
Houston
on those
had
teams.
it going there for a while.
Yeah, he did. The Nut House.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that, and I just got some simple stuff to do. I got to get my oil changed. I always go to the grease pig and get my oil changed, and just some things. Got to pick up some Richard steaks to take back to the woods. Just spend some time with Sarah. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, what did that 1998 team mean to you as somebody that was, growing up in Arkansas and making a decision where you're going to go to college, and
it was
you'd had this kind of a couple years in a row where they really weren't doing well. I don't know if much was expected in '98, and you just kind of caught lightning in a bottle.
It was real similar, I would say, to like when Petrino showed up after you kind of had a couple lean years, or even Bielema. It's like you didn't really watch Arkansas football. There wasn't anything to watch there for a couple years. They had a run in '95 with Madre Hill. They made a SEC championship game, and then it was kind of, what are they doing? And then Coach Nutt, and there was excitement in the air. It was definitely a different feeling.
I was going to say a buzz.
Yeah, right.
What
everybody's talking about it. Yeah.
And it was there's a lot of energy. Houston kind of brought energy. And if you'll remember, everybody was fired up. The halftime speeches, they were on his coach's show. That was must-see TV or whatever. And the toughness that the team played, I give Danny Ford a lot of credit. He and Jim Washburn and a few other of those coaches really recruited some good linemen. So the program was loaded with offensive linemen and defensive linemen. They were pretty much too deep the team that Houston inherited.
You had a star receiver out there in Lucas.
You had a lot.
Yeah.
There was good offensive players. Was
that
Chris
Chukwuma?
Chukuma.
Yeah, Chris Chukuma. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a beast. An Alabama kid. They had all the weapons, and defensively,
Zach
they
Painter.
were stout.
Yeah.
You had Kenoy Kennedy and David Barrett, who were both draft picks.
Yeah.
You had a young Quentin Caver playing linebacker. You had, Deron Moss was on the other side. It was
Anthony Eubanks. Was that Boo Williams?
Oh yeah, you had they were loaded, and lots of good defensive linemen, and it was those guys were ready to be united, and I think that Houston gets a lot of credit, but also Danny Ford and his coaches, they did recruit well, and they played those guys and toughened them up. Guys like Grant Garrett and Russ Brown and Brandon Burlesworth
and Clint was
Bobby
just as
Williams.
tough as any of them. The
Oh, yeah.
quarterback
Yeah,
was
he
was tough as nails.
He took his knocks.
Yeah.
As a sophomore, threw a lot of interceptions, running that pro. What is it? 7 steps, 9 steps, whatever.
Joe Ferguson stuff.
And Case Stevenson.
Yeah.
That was all. That drop back, and they. Houston, we're going to run the ball, run play action, and it was successful.
Is that kind of akin to? And I know that was his first year, but is that sort of, like 2021 under Sam Pittman? It's like, wow, look at what just happened here. Look what you can do at Arkansas. It doesn't have to be for the previous few years.
That team legitimately had a chance to win a national title.
That's true.
We're still waiting on that. Sam Pittman doesn't. I mean, what win does Sam Pittman have yet? He has a worse loss than he does a best win. Getting beat by Liberty at home is pretty bad last year.
Yeah, I would say that beating LSU is a pretty good win, and he's got that. I would say, beating Texas A&M, pretty good win. And I'd say beating Penn State in the bowl game. You can talk about the guys that didn't play for both sides, but that's pretty good when you go win a Florida bowl game on New Year's Day. That's a pretty good win, Matt.
Sure.
No, that is a good win. That's good. The bowl games just aren't what they used to be with your players not playing and everything. You had a Traylon Burks out there.
But to your point, Matt, too, like that '98 team legitimately had a chance to play for a national
They
title
did.
up until
The
the
fumble,
loss
yeah.
to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that about 2021. You do finish with 9 wins, and every resurgence is a little bit different. But I mean, that is one thing about 21 is, there wasn't that path to a national title that you could see in front of you, but it was a resurgence. I mean, just 2 years before, you'd gone back-to-back years without an SEC win.
Yeah, that team beat Alabama 42-6. 42-6. That's just we forget that. It was a pretty good victory. And it's like I interviewed Deron Moss for Hogs Plus, and he says we beat him like a dirty rag,
which must have been
is a
fun.
good line.
Hey, I would beat him. I would love to just see beating him by 1 point, even if it was a clean rag. It would be
different
just fine.
Alabama, but that still counts.
Different, absolutely it counts. But I remember even in those years, like, wow, is Alabama ever going to get back to a level of where even earlier in the decade where they won a title under Gene Stallings, but by the end of that decade, things a little bit different.
It's about leadership, isn't it?
Calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Good afternoon, Charlie. What's going on, man? How are you?
Well, Clay is so good that he's changed up my entire question and what I was going to ask. Because you guys are talking about when Houston took over compared to, and, I was so young back then. So, Clay, give me an idea. I'm not saying Danny Ford was bad or anything because I don't know. I was probably only 5 at that point, 6 years old. And obviously I remember more of when Pittman took over for Chad. When you think about those two situations, I would say obviously what Pittman took over was way worse. That's just would you agree 100% with that?
Oh, well, I just told you that Danny left him great
Two
players
depth,
that
two
were
deep
battled.
yeah.
I mean, offensive and defensive linemen that were ready to play and had played and taken their lumps. And they'd been through all the tough grind. I mean, they were tough. They needed some energy because they'd been beat down with those physical practices that Danny loved. I mean, they went to a bowl game and had 3-a-day practices. Danny did.
That's insane.
After the 95, they didn't want to play that game, that CarQuest. They didn't have to have curfews. The players were so exhausted they weren't going out. So Houston came in, and all he had to do was just kind of do his rah stuff, and then there was also, from what I understand, he kind of meshed the team black and white, and he was really good at that. And there were, they had a little bit of a chemistry problem under Danny, and Houston fixed that. And
and I was going to ask about that too, because the movie with Burlsworth in it, it kind of portrayed that, there was, like you said, that chemistry kind of issue under Danny. Was it as because I know Hollywood can throw there. I love that.
No,
movie,
that's accurate. And what happened in my recollection, the very first meeting, they're in the team room, and all the black players were sitting together, and all the white players sitting together, and none in between. And he's like, "Man, there won't ever be this in this meeting again. If I see this, then we're going to do something to fix it." And they brought those players together, and it was. They all knew that it existed, and he fixed it.
That's crazy to even think about that was happening. I can't believe that. So
I mean, I don't think it's anything that happens intentionally. It's just
No.
It's just human nature.
Absolutely. Also, Clay, when you go to practice tomorrow, you said you were. Do you think, as far as under coach? I mean, I think the key. One of the things that is really important. Do you think this is as deep as we've been since he's been here, up front on both sides? I do. I think you could make that argument. Now, granted, 2 years ago we did go 8-4, 9-4, but if you think about just our depth on both line of scrimmages, do you think this is as good and as deep as we're going to be?
I get the question. So you can have players on both sides that are talented, both sides of the line. But the key is, how much experience do you have, and are those men? And the answer is, this is the most older players that they've had too deep in the offensive and defensive line. I mean, there's one thing to have, 18 offensive linemen and none of them have ever played, or if they have played, it wasn't meaningful snaps. So they're in better shape there, especially those 3 interior positions. And there's youth at tackle, and that's the part of the team that I want to see. But they've got, on their defensive line, they've got a bunch of guys that have played the last 2 years, 3 years, took their knocks, and then they brought in older players from the transfer portal. And I think without question, Deke Adams did a good job in the portal of kind of restocking what they need, a mature Power 5 defensive lineman.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. I mean, Kiwi Rose, Anthony Booker, Trajan Jeffcoat, John Morgan. There's a few others on the defensive line too. These are guys that have played at other major Division I
in big
schools.
Games.
So and so I think there might be a little bit more depth.
Same
as far
thing
as
at
that's concerned
linebacker
on the defensive line than offensive line.
Yeah, and when you say defensive line, I throw the front 7 in there.
Yeah.
All those guys. The depth at linebacker is dramatically different. And we've spent every show that I've done in the last 2 weeks, it's been offense. Where I see the biggest change in attitude and depth is in all areas of the defense. And so I have hope. You can score 40 points, but if the other team is scoring 40 points, man, it ain't much fun. And that BYU game last year, I mean, that is scary when you get in games like that, where you don't know if you can stop the other team, and one punt wins the game. Well, that's not the way football is supposed to be played. You're supposed to stop the other team, and that's the difference in where Arkansas has been over the last few years in some of the teams like Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, Tennessee, LSU. When those teams have been in the top 10, it's because they've got a defense.
877-377-6963 to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Halftime brought to you by Davis Floor Covering today, South 79th Street in Fort Smith. Been locally owned for 45 years. Davis Floor Covering helps design, select, and install. They'll help you with colors, all the materials. They'll talk to you about your family, your lifestyle, and make sure that you have floor covering that works for you. Locally owned floor covering store. It's Davis Floor Covering, your source for tile, vinyl plank, hardwood, ceramic tile, stone, carpet, and more. They'll do custom countertops and showers, moisture detection, and mold treatment. That's Davis Floor Covering. Ask about their specials and discounts for veterans. They're at South 79th Street in Fort Smith, and to call Davis Floor Covering 479-452-4808. Back with more halftime after this.
I don't belong here. Running out the door.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Shop Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma and Roland and ride without compromise when you save big on select CF Moto U-Force, C-Force, and Z-Force models with up to $1,200 in rebates now through August 31st. Visit them online at AutoFindersOK.com to view a complete list of inventories. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma, your search ends. CF Moto recreational vehicles are intended for off-road use only and can be dangerous to operate. Review all product manuals, labels, and safety information before operating. Always wear your safety gear and never operate a CF Moto vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Visit CFMotoUSA.com for complete training and safety guidelines.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and BV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Photo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you feeling the heat this summer with soaring electric bills? Upgrade your AC system with Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric this August and experience the ultimate comfort in your home. This month, receive up to $500 off on attic insulation when you upgrade your AC. That's right, proper attic insulation can significantly reduce your energy bills, keeping your home cooler and more efficient. Worried about the cost? We've got you covered. With approved credit, enjoy payments as low as $99 a month. Picture this. Lower energy bills can help you cover the cost of your new system. Now that's a win-win situation. So don't wait. Call Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric now and save with a new AC system and installation this August. Say goodbye to high electric bills and hello to ultimate comfort. Visit GoPaschal.com now and schedule your free estimate. With approved credit, exclusions apply. See dealer for details. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric.
You don't wanna see cracks in your pipes or your plumber. Let Western Plumbing get you right for the summer. We tuck in our shirts and work, we're experts. So if things don't flow your way, we can get it to work. Say no to crack and we'll give you 20 back. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah. Western Plumbing, expert drain clean search. Say no to crack and get 20 back. Yeah.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has been serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma since 1964. That's over 50 years of commercial and residential services from their 2 locations on Zero Street in Fort Smith. Arkansas Glass and Mirror offers custom-cut tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and plate glass. Whether commercial entry doors or home glass projects, remember Arkansas Glass and Mirror. Online at arkansasglassandmirror.com or give them a call, 646-4300.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime.
Kids are starving in Japan, so eat it, just eat it. Don't wanna argue, I don't wanna debate. Don't wanna hear about what kind of food you hate. You won't get no dessert till you clean off your plate, so eat it. Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it, eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried, just eat it.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
Earlier in the show, Hognoxious/Bobby from Cave Springs called in to commemorate the 13-year anniversary of when he eat for the cycle. I don't know if there's an actual definition of what it is to eat for the cycle. Go ahead and type that question into a Google search, and you're not going to get an answer. You're just not going to get one. So it all depends on however you want to do it. I guess Bobby/Hognoxious had an actual set of rules to go by, or he created those rules. It's like getting a chance to create. You ever did that before, Matt? You were playing, sports with
create my own rules.
Yeah, you just kind of make up your own rules on the street.
Yeah,
as you go.
Losers walk,
winners eat.
That's it.
Go to the McClarty Daniel hotline here. Speaking of people that know how to eat, this guy has known. All right. This is Jack. He's calling in from Arizona. Jack, how long have we known each other?
We've known each other going on 42, 43 years now.
Yeah, and I'm 46, so we can do the math with that. This is somebody I grew up with.
Back
Jack,
to the sandbox.
Yeah, that's true. Jack is from Squirrel Hill, Pittsburgh, just like me. He's lived in Arizona for over 20 years now. But there was a night, south side of Chicago, July 2005. You go ahead and take it from there. I will just say this. I've never seen anybody that can ingest as many calories as my friend Jack here. And I had a front row seat for it once.
So we decided that we were going to eat for the cycle, as you call it. And we proceeded to eat something different every single inning of the game, from brats to fries.
Do you still remember, inning by inning, what you had?
I wish I did. I know there was definitely a brat in the second inning. I think we started with a basic dog in the first.
I mean, this is the
Pretzel
This is
in
the
the
White
third.
Sox team. So there's got to be a Chicago dog thrown in there, right?
3 of them, yeah.
And an old style
Oh,
or
yeah.
5.
Yeah.
This sounds
Little
expensive.
Jardinero.
I don't remember exactly how much it cost. I just remember what it felt like the next day. Heck, I remember what it felt like when the game was over. It did not feel very good. This was a Monday night. For some reason, there were like 48,000 people at the White Sox Stadium on a Monday night to watch them play the Royals. And little did we realize it was because everybody was going to watch Jack eat. I had to stop like in the 5th inning. You finished it. Do you remember how you felt at the end of the day? And when's the last time you've pulled this feat?
Oh, I felt like a rock star. I felt awesome. It's coming back to me. I do remember 7th inning pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Deep
it was
dish?
a beer every other inning.
Nice.
This was an accomplishment, and it's funny. Like I still remember the scene after the game. I don't even know how I remember that, but I do remember it.
Are you referring to the garbage can outside of the entrance?
Yeah, there was a specific episode with a garbage can amongst like so many people you couldn't even move.
It still counts because you made it outside the stadium, right?
True.
It still counts.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Was there
What
like
a night.
Maylocks later?
There may have been a half a bottle of Tums.
Half a bottle of Tums.
The funny thing was
Extra string.
the next day, this
Fruit
is like
flavor.
this was like a bachelor party for me. So there's like a whole bunch of my friends flew into Chicago just for this. The next day, we all felt like total crap, but I still wanted to go see a baseball game in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is not Chicago.
What's that? 2 hours north?
About 2 hours north.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was able to convince my hungover friends to make the trip to Milwaukee to go watch another baseball game. What did we do when we first got to Milwaukee?
We ate.
Gotta eat.
We drank beer.
We went to the Miller Brewery. We got a tour at the Miller Brewery.
you did.
And continue to eat. And what do you do in Milwaukee? You eat bratwursts, and then you eat cheese, and you do it all over again.
Now you're talking.
Unfortunately, one of your friends didn't actually make it into the game.
That's right. Oh, my gosh. That was little did I realize I would never see anything like that again. But 13 years ago today at Arvest Park in Springdale, Arkansas, Bobby from Cave Springs /Hog Noxious pulled it off. However, Jack, he did that without drinking beer. He said there's no liquids involved in this, so I think you actually might have beaten him. Got to put you guys side by side at a Razorback baseball game at some point and just say, this is the starting point. Have at it. Have
we
fun.
Definitely had a 24-ouncer every other inning.
24 ounces.
It's 24 ounces of what? No, don't answer that question.
That's called hydration.
Yeah. Jack, thanks for calling in and reliving this moment. One of the probably about 10 dozen fun / how did we do that moments of the last 43 years. It's good to talk to you.
I'm glad it was such a great memory for you as it was for me.
I don't remember everything about it, but I remember the important things. That's Jack on the McClarty Daniel hotline.
Phil, describe Jack's body style. Is he like Bobby Smittle? Is he a large boy?
Well, he's 6. I think Jack is like 6'3", 6'2" or 6'3". And I've seen him thin. I've seen him large. I've seen him.
He was large that day.
That day he was large. That's for sure. I don't know what the weight is today, but after that game,
good sized fella.
I think he put on like 10 pounds of food just that day alone.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And Ryan in Prairie Grove is right. He is most definitely a warrior. Eating for the cycle. How much fun can you have with that? 877-377-6963 on our McClarty Daniel hotline. Oh, at Arvest Park yesterday, by the way, Caden Wallace made a Double-A debut. And I didn't see this, but I was texting with Brett Dolan. Apparently, Caden struck out in his first Double-A at-bat because of a pitch clock violation.
Oh, gosh.
Nice. We did end up with a base hit. He finished 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts. And one of those strikeouts was a pitch timer violation, which I kind of wondered if by this point of the season, if that would happen very much.
It would be an accomplishment nowadays with that pitch clock getting that in because, like you said, all of a sudden, 3 batters, 3 up, 3 down as quick as you don't finish your food, then it doesn't count.
I agree. And look, you have to actually swallow it by the time the 3rd out is recorded.
Yeah, but who's counting?
Obnoxious was counting.
Without rules, it's just chaos.
Hey, you can
Without
eat for the
rules,
cycle.
it's
You can
chaos.
eat for the cycle.
Even on the cycle.
At Joe's Grilling Cantina, today is Nacho Average Wednesday. $1 off all nachos, $1 off all beers, draft, and bottles. And this works for eating for the cycle. They've got the new ballpark-style pork nachos. Tomorrow's Throwback Thursday. Rotation of classic Tex-Mex dishes that you've enjoyed for years at Joe's. And you can't forget one of their ultimate margaritas. That's a Grand Slam plus 8. Joe's Grilling Cantina, the best service in town from the friendliest people. They're at South 74th Street, 3400 South 74th, across from Harps and Fort Smith. JoesFortSmith.com, the website, their Facebook page for daily specials, and the Waiter app to put it in order. Halftime, back after a very quick break.
Drive a seat. Drive a seat. Drive a seat.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
This is halftime.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all we do is keep you rolling. If you're replacing a car, selling a car, repairing a car, or anything else automotive, we've got you. Plus, follow us on Facebook to enter our Winning and Grinning Give-A-Palooza. It's fun and it's free with great prizes. Think of us next time you have any automotive need and see why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
This is Ty Richardson. When I think of rich history and tradition in Fort Smith, I think of Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has won the best pizza and bar in Fort Smith the past 25 straight years. So if you want to experience legendary pizza, awesome drinks, and memories for a lifetime, swing by Papa's, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Are you needing new tires? Are you short on cash? Van Alma Tire can help you get back on the road. Come by Van Alma Tire and apply for caffeine. It only takes minutes to get approved, and you can get the tire or the service you need to get your vehicle back on the road. Top-of-the-line tires, brake service, and more. Van Alma Tire is here to help you. Located on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Must be 18 or older. Valid ID. Active checking account and income at least $1,000 per month.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Do you want an exciting, fulfilling career with a great schedule, competitive pay, and never a boring day at work? The Fort Smith Fire Department is hiring 20 firefighters ages 18 to 35. We offer education incentives, tuition reimbursement, EMT and paramedic pay, and early promotion opportunities. Apply online before September 1st at fortsmithar.gov/fire department or find the link on our Facebook page. Come be one of Fort Smith's bravest. Apply today with the Fort Smith Fire Department.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime.
My daddy was a brakeman on a highball traveling train. Mama raised 4 little children and her family had a good name. Papa and Mama wanted all for us and never had big brother, little brother, sister too. None of them turned out half bad, except me. I'm the black sheep of the family. Big brother went to college and became a doctor man. Bet he makes about $1 million a year off of folk on insurance plans. He's got a big, long Mercedes-Benz and a house overlooking the town. Sits in the jacuzzi and he watches the sun go down. Feels real sorry for me. I'm the black sheep of the family. Yeah, I drive me a big old semi-truck. I'm making payments on a 2-room shack. My wife, she waits on tables, and at night she rubs my back. And I tell her what my papa said to my mama when he got off a highball train. Wake me up early, be good to my dogs, teach my children to pray.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And the Hall of Famer Clay Henry joining us here on Halftime as well. If you want to get on the show with a call or text, our McClarty Daniel hotline is open, 877-377-6963. You can see the entire inventory of McClarty Daniel at their website, McClartyDaniel.com. So in this era of, again, it's not conference realignment, it is consolidation. You know, the SEC hasn't lost a member school since 1966.
It's hunt and gather for these things, man. They're out there just picking them up.
Kind of is, you're right. Tulane is the last school to leave the SEC, 1966. Tulane viewed themselves differently than the rest of the SEC, and I think because of being a certain kind of academic institution, decided to lessen the importance of athletics on campus. 2 years before that, now we'd gotten a call, I think this was a week or two ago, somebody had come up with the idea of some of the conferences maybe kicking members out, and had pointed out Georgia Tech was kicked out of the SEC, which is incorrect. Georgia Tech left the SEC in 1964. Get this, the reasoning, because Georgia Tech wanted to uncap the number of scholarships that the conference allowed for football and basketball. It was capped at 140, and the rest of the league would not go along with it. So Georgia Tech left the SEC because they wanted more scholarships.
Notre Dame used to just give them out. They just signed 50 players just so you couldn't have them. That's wild. Doesn't Frank Broyles have some ties to Georgia Tech, Clay?
He played there.
Yeah.
He was Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC as a single wing quarterback, so to speak. He was, then he coached at Georgia Tech under Bobby Dodd, his mentor. Then beat him in the Gator Bowl when he was head coach at Arkansas.
Nice.
But look at that. I mean, Georgia Tech left because they wanted to be an independent. I don't know if you can really be successful as an independent now. But it's a risk that you take. If you go independent, like if Stanford goes independent, makes a bowl game, you got to share the bowl revenue amongst your league members. You're an independent. You don't have to share the bowl revenue. It's all yours. Of course, not every bowl payout is the same. And it's the same with television. I don't know how Stanford would get on TV, but they wouldn't have to share with anybody.
Yeah, Notre Dame's not sharing with anybody.
They certainly are not. But they also are in that position where they alone are their own conference, because now you essentially are down to 9 leagues after this year. Whatever happens with the 4 Pac-12 schools that are left over, you're going to be down to 9 leagues. The Mountain West and Pac-12 joined together is going to be maybe it's under the Pac-12 name, but one of those leagues is going away. And so when Greg Sankey yesterday talks on Feinbaum about, the way that we had chosen the path to the playoffs under the 12-team format, well, that was designed for 10 leagues and Notre Dame. You don't have that right now. So, they were doing this at the top 6 ranked conference champions and the 6 top-ranked teams that are not conference champions make the playoff. The top 4 ranked conference champions get the bye. So if you have one less league, maybe there's one less conference champion that's guaranteed a spot. So maybe at that point you do 5. I don't know if it's that different of a layout, but there's going to be a different way that you choose the 12 teams. When you're down to 9 leagues instead of 10.
What was the 5th one? I mean, the 6th one, because you had the ACC, the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and Pac-12. What was the other
Basically, that would lead to the top-ranked group of 5 champion.
Like your Cincinnati, like your Central Florida, like those type of teams?
Yes.
So it wasn't necessarily, okay.
Or a Boise State. If remember Northern Illinois had that year a few years ago and won the MAC, and forget what New Year's Bowl they played in, but there's a good chance that maybe Northern Illinois that year would have made a 12-team playoff. But they left the door open for the Power 5. Basically the Power 5 are getting in. And then the best group of 5 team. But that's not what it's going to be left up to.
I think that Pac-12, where the Pac-4, I guess, with your MAC out there, what is it, your WAC, the one that San Diego State's in, they were trying to go to Pac-12.
Mountain West.
Mountain West. I think that's a fine. Even if Stanford and Cal left, if you could get the other 2 schools, you get Washington State, then you would have 14 in the Mountain West.
They're going to have to figure something out, because I think the way that they thought they would do it isn't necessarily the way that it's going to be done.
You'd hope that there'd be some common sense, but it just never seems like there is.
It's just greed, Clay. It's like, let's go and scoop up as many teams to our conference as we can before somebody else gets them, and we'll figure it out later.
At some point, they're going to thin the herd. And I mean, that's my worry, is that TV is going to say, let's just pick the top 32 teams.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got into that yesterday. Is Arkansas amongst those 32 teams?
And then you get, relegation. I don't think so now, but there's not any.
But is it based on talent, or is it
say what it is?
Yeah, is it based on talent, or is it based on TV market? Because that's what it seems to be like.
I think that it would probably be both.
Yeah.
I mean, the TV, if they sense that there's a really talented team out there, they're interested in them. It's as much as, say, if Vanderbilt suddenly got good, they'd be in the discussion. I mean, it's not, you don't just, if you are a national player, then TV's interested.
You got to have somewhere to start. If you come up with a 32-team league, and then maybe, like in the fantasy world, you would have relegation and promotion amongst the rest of the 32 that were left behind.
You're making sense now, Phil. Be careful.
Well, that's right. But what I'm saying is you got to start somewhere. Like, how do you?
I don't know that.
Where do you choose the 32 teams to begin with?
I think when you're out, you're out. I don't think you get back in.
Well, because it's pretty darn difficult to get to a place where you would be a successful team if that cycle of, we're out of the Super League, and your recruiting all of a sudden takes a hit. But I think at that point, you're not talking about college sports or college
Well,
football. I think you're talking about
gotta
a different
kick somebody
sort of
out.
quasi-professional league at that point.
If Michigan's 3-7 and they're playing Ohio State, that's a 10-0, it doesn't matter if it's a Super League game or not. What matters is when one team's 10-2 and one team's 11-1. If it's Virginia, like you're just saying, if Vanderbilt found a way to go 11-1 and then they're playing Ohio State that's 12-0, we want to watch that.
No question.
Yeah, you want. Well, a lot of times, yeah, it's based.
You guys
on
are making sense, though. Be careful.
Well, and the word greed, and I understand where Matt's going with that. It's like the administrators, the athletics directors, and all that. I don't know if it's necessarily greed or the fear of being left behind financially. FOMO? Yeah, it's a FOMO. It's a fear of being left behind,
no, I think it's greed.
And because you lose out on X amount of dollars, then you're gonna lose your job.
Yeah, and those guys are highly paid. You know, the athletic directors, they're making $1.5 million. These Power 5 schools, and I mean, they got to fund their positions too.
Well, I mean, that's another way to look at it. It'd be like, well, if I increase my athletic department's revenue or the budget but twofold, then I'm going to get a raise too.
I'm going to get a raise. Yep, we're going to give a little bit of the money back to that academic wings, which has happened before at Arkansas. You know, Coach Burles was really good about sending some money up the hill. But be careful. Don't make too much sense out of all this stuff, because I'm afraid that it isn't going to make sense. And you know, we talk about greed. It's not just college football. It's all the way through. I mean, what's going on with golf now? That's greed.
You see it in soccer too, Clay. You see some of the younger guys going to that Saudi Pro League, and they're saying it's all for money.
Yep. And Liv was definitely greed. You can say, you know, we're trying to grow the game. No, they're not. They're trying to grow their pocketbook, and that's fine. I might do the same thing.
We will wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment. Want to remind you about Factor. That's America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. They'll help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals, and it'll be delivered right to your door. Save time, eat well, and stay on track reaching your goals. With Factor, you can rest assured you're making a sustainable choice, and you will round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 add-ons, including breakfast items like delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, potato bacon and egg breakfast skillet. Just go to factormeals.com. You'll get 50% off if you use the code HTL50. That's factormeals.com/HTL50. And use that code HTL50. You'll get 50% off your order. Hour number 2 of halftime concludes after this.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
It's hard enough to find a quality used vehicle, and even harder to get the financing. Well, look no more. RVR Auto can do both. They have a large selection of pre-owned vehicles and offer in-house financing with payments tailored to your needs. Cars, vans, trucks, all makes and models, and RVR Auto is locally owned. RVR Auto, where you aren't just a customer, you're part of the family. And they also sell used vehicle parts for all makes and models, even those hard to find. Check out their inventory at rvrauto.net or give them a call at 918-626-8111. RVR Auto, be a part of the family.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is making the middle of the week something to look forward to. Wednesdays is Nacho Average Wednesday. Get $1 off all nachos every Wednesday and try the all-new ballpark-style pork nachos. And draft or bottled beers are $1 off. Every Thursday is Throwback Thursday. Enjoy some of the old Cuco's classic platters, just the way you remember them. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Acker Funeral Home knows that thinking about the inevitability of one's death is a subject that few like to consider. For many, actually moving ahead with their pre-planning or prepaying for their funeral is even more difficult to act on. With a large number of options available today, it's important to speak to someone you can trust. Acker Funeral Homes in Van Buren, Alma, and Fort Smith, serving the community for over 100 years. Call 474-2523 for an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime.
Nickels and dimes, memories and wine. She's on his mind once again. The same old stew, the same old fool. Played by the rules but didn't win. There's an old love in his heart he can't lose. He tried forgetting, but he knows that it's no use. He's got a full-hearted memory. It won't let him see that she walked out the door. He's got a full-hearted memory. He sits patiently here every night so it can fool him more.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
I want to remind you about another qualifying round for the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime at the Rogers Hardee's location tomorrow in Fort Smith. Finish your Monster Burger in 120 seconds, and you are entered into the finals for the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime. That's the Chiefs and the Eagles in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 18th annual football trip of a lifetime qualifying round tomorrow, 2720 Rogers Avenue. It is brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. It's not quite eating for the cycle, but it is definitely competitive eating to a sense. Before we hit the break, I don't have enough time for a phone call, so if Sterling can hold, we'll get his full phone call in the next segment. Gee, I see ESPN is getting into the gambling business now. Penn Entertainment divested itself of Barstool Sports, now owned 100% by Dave Portnoy, and Penn has struck a deal with ESPN, which will now brand ESPN Bet Sportsbooks in 16 states across the country. And I'm sure those are going to be the odds that we see on the bottom line over and over. It was FanDuel and DraftKings. They were advertising on ESPN for a long time. I don't know if that'll be the case any longer, because ESPN is officially getting into the gambling business.
You think they absorb, FanDuel and DraftKings type thing and just try to take over?
Well, I mean, if you're the worldwide leader, that's definitely one way to.
There doesn't seem to be any division. It seems to be everybody's in everything. Like we're going to be in the betting world now. It's like nobody else can do it. We want it all.
Legitimately, ESPN is now in almost every aspect of the sports business. I mean, their money ends up paying players in professional sports.
SEC Network. I mean, ESPN right there, playing a lot for the players.
They have partnerships with these leagues, partnerships with separate teams. And they're supposed to be journalists at the same time, and now you're kind of, they're not running the betting houses.
Can they make
bets?
Do you think they're like players where players can't make?
Did you just say they're supposed to be journalists?
Some of them, I guess.
No, they're not.
Third hour of halftime is next.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drug Store has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drug Store can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hey, this is Jason Christie from Park Hill, Oklahoma, the 2022 Bassmaster Classic champion. I'm excited to tell you about the Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. It is a smaller version of the Poppin' Pad Crasher, and it's a bait I'm going to use all summer on the Arkansas River. Frog fishing is one of my favorite things to do when summer fishing, and Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr. is the right size and has the right hook set up to catch them. It's available at lurenet.com and tackle stores everywhere. The Booyah Poppin' Pad Crasher Jr.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
What makes a meal magical? Maybe it's coming home to smiling faces and the aroma of the grill. Maybe magic is the moment you finally get the secret ingredient to Mom's signature mac and cheese. Who knows, magic might just be as simple as meeting up with a friend to share a number 2 with fries and extra ketchup. One thing's for certain, magic shouldn't be hard because it's everywhere. All it takes is mixing the right ingredients, good company, great food, and ice-cold Coca-Cola. And then, voila! You'll have a recipe for magic.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, chance of showers and thunderstorms, especially across the north. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be into the mid-80s north, low 90s south. Chance of some showers, some rumble to thunder tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the upper 60s to low 70s, and another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 24 days.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down,
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Matt Travis, and the Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us as we take you up towards 2 o'clock. And we got an update from Dubrovnik, Croatia. Looks like the second opponent, ZZK Budoknost, is a little bit better than the in Croatia All-Stars by a lot. 15 minutes ago, they'd finished 3 quarters, and Arkansas led 50-35. I think the score at the end of 3 quarters the other day was about 1,000,000 to 2.
Wasn't it 42 to 1
at
one
the end of the
point?
first quarter? Yeah, that's right. So ZZK Budoknost. At the end of the tweet, it says, if you didn't know, this team is really good. So it's a major step up in competition by moving from Split to Dubrovnik. And the women play the University of Regina on Saturday. And I think that's a Canadian team that's out there. I'm just guessing.
Saskatchewan, yeah.
Sounds about right. Calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline come in at 877-377-6963. Sterling held through the break, and we appreciate that. Hi, Sterling. Good to hear from you. What's up?
Oh, nothing much, guys. Is Clay still around?
Yes, sir.
You know, y'all talking about the 98 season earlier. And I just remember them Auburn and South Carolina games that we kind of trailed them a little bit. And it seemed like that we'll make a rally in the second half, just like the game with Kentucky. It seemed like that we always had better second half than first half in that 98 season, to my remembrance. And it always seemed like he had one special play, Houston, when he first came. I don't want to call it a trick play, but some misdirection type plays. It seemed like he always had one in the bag for every game in that 98 season. I'm just bringing that up to you just in case if that's something that I'm just making up in my own head, fantasizing about that season, or is that true? And my question to you is, do you think Danny Ford would have had that same type of success with that bunch?
That's a tough one, Sterling, and I don't remember the misdirection plays and all that. And I'm sure you're right. What I do recall that Sterner was really good at checks at the line of scrimmage and was good at getting him out of bad plays, and he was really accurate. His junior year, now he got hurt his shoulder as a senior, but his junior year, that's what I saw that really improved, is that his sharpness in the passing game was really much, much better. And he and Lucas were on the same page, and they had some other receivers on that team that were pretty good. But what really changed was pass protection. They got their passes off a little quicker. The play action was easier to protect because they can run the ball. And if you can run the ball and you run play action, your quarterback has just got more time than if it's just straight drop back, which is what they ran under Kay Stevenson's offense with Sterner when he was a sophomore. A lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions, and that went away. They protected the ball, and they were good in the kicking game. And the defense improved under Keith Burns, and they figured out a way to utilize Zach Painter. They put him as a safety, kind of almost like a nickelback, and played him in coverage.
Like a rover a little bit?
No question. And he was a corner and was not effective as a corner, but he was effective as a safety in the 98 season. And then you had Kenoy Kennedy and David Barrett just wreaking havoc. And I'll never forget that Kentucky game in Little Rock when Kenoy hit the tight end and turned his helmet sideways. And Deron Moss told me he walked up and said he's bleeding out of his ears and throwing up.
He didn't want anymore.
Well, I don't think anybody would have.
Man, and David Barrett, man, he's a guy that played on Sundays. He was the real deal.
He was a cover corner, locked down, and then Kenoy was just, he was a thumper back there at free safety. And, it was he made plays and made them look easy. Just so comfortable. And, they didn't ever let anybody get behind them, and then they blitzed and made it uncomfortable for the quarterback. So that's what I remember about the 98 team.
And one more thing, I got to thank for you and thank for Phil real fast. Also, the previous season, I always assumed, I didn't know this a fact, but I always assumed that Broyles forced Case Stevenson
no question, and I was going to get to that. I'm glad you brought it up.
And I always felt that his firing was unjustified because of that fact. That he should have gave him. I always thought that Danny should have got another year because he forced a OC on him. It didn't work out.
But if it might not have worked out the next year because Case Stevenson was still there. So you get to the point of, all right, is it ever going to work with these guys? And were the black-white situation, was that going to be resolved? I don't know that it was. Houston fixed some things that needed to be addressed and added enthusiasm. And I think their defensive mindset was much better under Keith Burns than it was, say, previously with a guy like Miles Aldridge. And I just, you had some things that needed to change on Danny's staff. One of them probably wasn't eliminating Jim Washburn. That he should have been retained by Houston. But that, in fact, Frank suggested that you ought to keep that one, and he didn't. So not everything works the way you want it to, but I think Danny Ford's time was over, Sterling.
Yeah, it shows that now. But when I say the change in the OC, let him bring his own guy in for one more chance. But you're exactly right on it. And Phil, I can't get by here without giving you a little baseball question. The Rays took a serious blow with the loss of Shane, whose last name escaped me for some reason. But anyways, I think that, to me, that kind of ends their chances of a legitimate chance of them winning the title. Do you agree or disagree? And I really like the Rangers as a team to be reckoned with in October. And I'll take your thoughts off there. Thank you.
Well, they lose Shane McClanahan to an injury.
McClanahan,
that definitely gets in the way of their rotation. If there's a team that has shown the ability to think so-called outside the box and make it past some injuries, the Rays have been one of those teams. It's just that's a tough division to not be at full strength. But they're in a good position right now. 2 games behind Baltimore. But, yeah, if you're down a pitcher that won 11 of his first 13 decisions, had already by this point thrown 115 innings, and that's going to test you. That is certainly going to test you. And it would be a reason why a guy like Jalen Beeks needs to be able to step into that role, which he's going to get a chance to do that today. Good to hear from you, Sterling, on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Clay, you'd hit on something a moment ago about what that 98 team did, that I feel like it could be a piece of the Dan Enos offense this year, because they should be able to run the ball. So much of that will have to do with the offensive line, but you have the backfield, you got the quarterback to be able to run as long as there's some room. The play action, is this an offense that you expect to see play action. As long as you run the ball, it feels like you got the quarterback to do it. You got a set of receivers who are fast. I don't know. I like this option.
I always start with the offensive line, and what you said is accurate. But Dan Enos is one of the reasons why he wanted to come to Arkansas is that he felt like with Sam Pittman, because he knew him, that he would have offensive linemen. And when he got here, he was just thought it was exactly the way he thought. You know, some veteran, good offensive linemen, and then some really talented young guys like Kutas, Manuel, Marion Harris, Chalmers. Andrew Chambly. I'm not looking at the names. I can think of them and spit them out eventually. But that's where the offense is going to succeed because of that, really top-end talent in the offensive line. And I think the new strength coach, that's part of it too. But it's the confidence Sam has in being able to build offensive lines. And then the other part about it is that we keep forgetting is they've got a new defensive coordinator too. And I think they're going to be successful with the way they're putting their defense together in an attacking style that can play 4 or 3-man fronts.
Hey, you want to have a great meal tonight? Get up to Fish City Grill in Rogers. They'll be open until 10 o'clock tonight. Chalkboard specials. Jalapeno bacon mahi tacos. It's just $14.99. Get grilled mahi-mahi, crispy jalapenos, brown sugar bacon, sweet chipotle aioli, and Cuban black beans and rice. Or miso-glazed Alaskan black cod, bok choy, sugar snap peas, sesame soy broth, white rice for just $26.99. That's Fish City Grill in Rogers. They're at 2003 South Bellevue Road, Rogers. And the phone number, if you want to pick up or get delivery, is 479-636-8883. You can also go online to fishcitygrill.com. Halftime back after a quick break.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
You don't want to see cracks in your pipes or your plumber. Let Westburn Plumbing get you right for the summer. We tuck in our shirts and work, we're experts. So if things don't blow your way, we can get it to work. Say no to cracking, we'll give you 20 back. 646-5151. Looking for a plumber, call and they'll give you one. 646-5151. Looking for a...
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
During the summer months, I know many of you are active, going to the lake, going to the beach. And if you want to live a healthier lifestyle and look better on these occasions, then I've got just the meal kit for you. It's Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. And you can get 50% off your order right now using the code HTL50. Just go to factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off. You're going to save trips to the grocery store. Your meals are going to be ready in about 2 minutes. They're fresh, never frozen. Plus, they have over 34 weekly restaurant options like bruschetta shrimp risotto and grilled steakhouse filet mignon. They have keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie options. Don't forget about breakfast and start your day right with Factor. Take 50% off right now. Factormeals.com/HTL50. That's factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust.
You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline.
With Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
I still haven't turned on the Johnny Manziel Untold documentary on Netflix. I've seen a couple people review it, said it sounds like they left some stuff out, or I thought they left some stuff out, wasn't complete. A couple other people thought it was one of the best sports documentaries they've ever seen. But it seems to me to be worth an hour or two getting a look at that.
Hey, at least he got some money for it. You spend $5 million on a bender, you got to get compensated somehow. So lived in that. You should have had a GoPro that whole time going on. That'd have been
Get a load of this, though.
Television.
This is from an article in the Guardian website, which is a British website, and it's just kind of talking about Johnny Manziel and his career and everything. And it points out in this is straight from the article. It also changed the economics at Texas A&M, a military school in the Lone Star hinterlands that had recently jumped into the SEC.
They'd never picked up a football before. Yeah,
that's a pretty decent description of Texas A&M, even if it's not necessarily 100% correct. A military school in the Lone Star hinterlands. I don't know if I view College Station might not be the most exciting place on earth. I think the hinterlands would be more like West Texas, most of West Texas.
Did you do ROTC in school?
I did not.
Yeah, that's because they're A&M's a big ROTC school, right? Like
it's almost like everybody does it there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the Hinterlands is not really Bryan and College Station anymore. It was once like that, but hey, they've come up. They've got Carl Juniors. They've got Chick-fil-A's. I mean, they got it all now.
Dictionary defines
there.
2 definitions for the hinterlands. 1, the often uncharted areas beyond a coastal district or a river's banks. 2, an area lying beyond what is visible or known. I would go with the first one in that case because it's beyond the coastal district. It's about an hour, hour north of Houston?
It is an hour.
It's about right. Anyway, so I just love making fun of A&M. It's fun. So I went back and looked at not all of the defensive line for Arkansas on the roster, but certainly a bunch of the guys that are going to get a lot of playing time. I counted 9 of them, all right?
I was going to say they can go 3 deep at defensive end and maybe more with some young players as they develop.
But I went through the roster here, and I went with Cameron Ball, John Morgan, Trajan Jeffcoat, Torian Carter, Anthony Booker. Booker's transferred in from Maryland. Tank Booker, Landon Jackson, Eric Gregory, Zach Williams, Jashad Stewart, and Keevy Rose. Rose is the transfer from Louisiana Tech. Those are 9 defensive linemen.
I would add,
and they have over 302 games of experience playing college football.
Yeah, add in Nico Davier.
Well, I didn't put him in there.
He's going to play.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he didn't get. He's got some experience. What, he got 12 games last year,
but
mostly on special teams.
Special teams, but he is. He's added a little strength. The maturation process for a defensive lineman is significant, but he's penciled in for playing time, and I think he's got a burst. And is an interesting player at defensive end.
How hard is it, Clay? You bring up the offensive line all the time, and when you think about it, I don't know if people understand this. Offensive linemen, you don't change. It doesn't come in waves. The D linemen, they just keep bringing a fresh body into you, and like you talk about that burst, it's important to have a great offensive line.
If you can be 2 and 3 deep, and I'll remember this. Forever, and I think it was maybe the 3rd or 4th year in the SEC. I could get to the sideline, and I was down on the field. LSU rolled out with their defensive lineman in the end zone to warm up, and I didn't know the numbers. I just knew the names, and I couldn't see the names on the back. And they lined up, 3 deep in the end zone to warm up, and they would fire out in their 3-point stance or whatever, and they had 12, and I couldn't tell the difference, but I could not pick out the starters, and I was like, okay, that's what SEC football is supposed to be. And then it was a few weeks later I saw Alabama, same thing, saw Georgia, same thing, and I'll never forget Brett Bielema rolling in one day, and early at practice, he walks over to me and he's like, "Hey, we finally may be 2 deep in the defensive line, but I mean, our second one, we really don't want to play him much, but our first one is really good." But you know what? That's what I figured out about the SEC. If you're not 2 deep in the defensive line, where it doesn't matter who plays, you're going to have a long day, and they're going to whip you.
It's the same concept with running backs. You're able to be a running back by committee in that middle of that 3rd quarter. You put your other running back in there, fresh legs. He's fresh. He's running through arm tackles. He's just a little quicker to the hole. But, yeah, the defensive line, and to have that depth, that's going to be a big key this year.
Yeah, this was kind of a revelation to me in college football. As a young reporter going to Lincoln, Nebraska, and the day before the game, I'm at the Nebraska walkthrough, and I'm down there on the field, and Don Bryant, who's the veteran SID at Nebraska, standing there by me, knew my dad, knew my brother, and he waved Coach Osborne over, and their team was out there in shorts and T-shirts with no numbers, so I couldn't figure out who the star players. They had Isaiah Hip. They had, some other guys that, really star tailbacks. And they lined up at tailback 5 deep. 5 deep. And this was the 10th game of the season. He says, yeah, we've lost a couple of players. We were 9 deep to start the year at tailback. And he says, you better have at least 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to go down, and you just have to be able to do, and they all better be good. And that's where Arkansas, they may have 5 with the freshman and Dominic Johnson. They've got a nice room of running backs.
I'm a big Dominion fan. I like his style. One of him, either him or AJ Green, or maybe they both have 500 yards rushing. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of them kind of has a breakout year this year.
And one of them may have 300 yards receiving.
Right. Yep.
Well, and look, Rocket and AJ have 2 full years of experience playing in the SEC. Dominion has the 1. You got a little bit of experience on the offensive line playing in the SEC. And back to the defensive linemen here for a moment. And I know it's not all SEC teams that these guys played for. John Morgan played at Pitt. That was a really good defensive line there. Trajan Jeffcoat played at Mizzou. They've had a really stout defensive line for the last 2-3 years. Booker at Maryland. I mean, he went up against the East. He went up against the East in the Big East, in the Big Ten. Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and the like. And Maryland wasn't terrible either. These guys are averaging. Look, there are 9 of these players. I counted it up. They average 33 games of experience in major Division I college football. We see this with the baseball team. We're seeing this with the basketball team. Muss and Van Horn and Pittman. They've talked about the philosophy of this, and there are certain players like a Jaheim Singletary. I think that's a different kind of an athlete. But they went out and they got guys who are experienced. It's like things aren't going to take them by too much surprise, even coming into the SEC. That has to stand for something at that position.
Yeah, I think in the secondary they've done the same thing. I mean, now, guys, one thing we have to remind ourselves. If you go around the SEC, everybody's added players like this. Mm-hmm. It is not just Arkansas. And when you say, well, this is the deepest Arkansas team, if you're at an SEC school and you've got NIL money in a large way, there's no excuse for you not having what you need to play. And you look on offense, and Arkansas has done the same thing. But that's what's happening in college football. If you have a glaring weakness or a lack of depth, you go get them, and you spend what you want to get them. It's a free agent market. So I don't think that Arkansas is just going to roll through the SEC, because every team they play in the conference has the ability to reload with NIL money with veteran players.
Our McClarty-Daniel hotline remains open as we head into the home stretch of halftime. 877-377-6963. McClartyDaniel.com if you want to see the entire inventory. Got to tell you about New Holland Workmaster compact tractors available right now at WT Equipment. You find big savings if you buy now. 0% financing for 72 months plus no payments for 90 days, or choose cash back. A New Holland compact tractor from WT Equipment have never been easier to own. Choose from 24 to 55 horsepower models. This features a roomy open platform or spacious cab on some units, fuel-efficient power, loads of optional attachments, and routine maintenance, a cinch to perform. So ask about a Workmaster or Boomer compact tractor today at WT Equipment, online at WTEquip.com. This offer ends August 31st. We'll be back. More halftime after this.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
During the summer months, I know many of you are active, going to the lake, going to the beach. And if you want to live a healthier lifestyle and look better on these occasions, then I've got just the meal kit for you. It's Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. And you can get 50% off your order right now using the code HTL50. Just go to factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off. You're going to save trips to the grocery store. Your meals are going to be ready in about 2 minutes. They're fresh, never frozen. Plus, they have over 34 weekly restaurant options like bruschetta shrimp risotto and grilled steakhouse filet mignon. They have keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie options. Don't forget about breakfast and start your day right with Factor. Take 50% off right now. Factormeals.com/HTL50. That's factormeals.com/HTL50 and get 50% off.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sankey.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Rockwell and Orwell are both known for their work from 1984. It's no conspiracy that somebody's watching me, because the terms and agreements that no one reads is the reason there's no privacy. Big Tech is tracking every move you make and is starting to control society and how you participate. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and Revelation 13 describes a mark for those who fall for this utopian dream. I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Read about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact.
Home last night, like many nights before. Finally made it to my feet as she opened up the door, and she said, "You're not gonna do this anymore." She said, "I'm gonna hire a wino to decorate our home, so you'll feel more at ease here, and you won't need to roam. We'll take out the dining room table, we'll put a bar along that wall, and a neon sign will point the way to our bathroom down the hall." She said, "Just bring those Friday paychecks, and I'll cash them all right here. And I'll keep on tap for all your friends, their favorite kind of beer.
And for you, I'll always keep in stock those soft aluminum cans. And when you're feeling macho, you can crush 'em like a man. She said, we'll rip out all the carpet and put sawdust on the floor. Serve hard-boiled eggs, pretzels, and I won't cook no more. There'll be Monday night football on TV above the bar, and a payphone in the hallway when your friends can't find their car.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us as well as we get you into the home stretch of halftime here on day number 24 until Razorback football begins. Who you got for 24, Matt Jones?
Well, Clay Henry will absolutely love this one. Sam Alajawabutu, one of the most underrated Razorbacks ever. He was a great teammate. Love some Sam Butu. But it's never iffy if it's Griffey, number 24. And the Black Mamba, you know, the reason he went to 24, I thought it was a tribute to his pops, you know, Kobe Bean Bryant, and it was because he said he's one better than MJ, and so he went to when he switched it to number 24.
Yeah, that's a gutsy thing to do, right?
Butu was a heck of man. He was a fun, little undersized linebacker that he brought it every time he showed up. He brought it.
I mean, he played under your pads, made every play.
He's from a Georgia boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was from LaGrange or that area, and his family had a big convenience store right across from the high school, and he grew up working there and was I believe a two-time state champ, Class 3A wrestling champ.
Oh, I believe it.
And just really good with his hands, strong hands. Wrestlers, John Ridgway was a wrestler. Just because you wrestle doesn't mean you're talented. But if you're a state champion, it probably means you're talented.
You remember Dat Wynn from Texas A&M? You remember Sam Mills, the linebacker from the Saints? Like, that's kind of his mold. Butu was in that type of mold. Yeah.
Zach Thomas.
Yeah,
right there.
So Matt said something important. He's a great teammate. And I'm going to kind of expand on that. He did not – I mean, he was from upper middle class. I mean, his family had some money. Had nice clothes. He got to school, and there were a lot of guys from the deep south at Arkansas. They'd recruited some other Florida guys. Nobody had any jackets. Nobody had any coats. And if there was somebody his size, he gave them his jackets and then got a new one when he went home. Do you remember that about Butu?
Oh, he always had a smile on his face.
Didn't have money.
Yep.
He'd
better human. He's a great player and just a great dude. Yep.
He just said, man, you need this more than I do. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, I didn't know anybody figured out. Lewis Campbell told me that about you. And he goes, well, I just did it because it just seemed like the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 24 currently is Quincy McAdoon. We're not quite sure when or if he is going to play again.
It sounds more promising, though, doesn't it, Phil?
Yes, it does. I know he's not taking part in camp, but just based on the last time I heard Sam Pittman talk about him, it sounds, I just keep hearing him. I keep hearing about, if he's going to be able to play football moving forward. So and a neck injury, that always worries me.
It's nervous times. Yep.
You did mention Griffey, though, right?
It's never iffy if it's Griffey.
Is it the same as it doesn't go down easy if it ain't cheesy?
It must be a homer because the pitcher just went, no.
Today in 1998, perhaps the greatest catch of Griffey's career.
Hunter with 28 stolen bases. High fly ball, well tagged this time, and Junior going back to the track. The wall makes the leap and makes the catch. Amazing catch by Junior as he takes a home run away from Luis Gonzalez. My, oh my! Perfect timing, and Junior receiving a standing ovation here.
That's the legendary Dave Niehaus, who passed away 13 years ago, calling Ken Griffey Jr. climbing the fence at Old Tiger Stadium and robbing Luis Gonzalez.
You got to see the Griffey Jr., Michael Irvin, Mike Conley, Barry Sanders dunk contest in the early 90s.
Who was this again?
Now, Mike Conley could jump. He wins it, obviously, because, I mean, he could jump over it. But it's Barry Sanders, Michael Irvin, Ken Griffey Jr. I think even Barry Bonds might have been in one of them. They're up there doing dunks, but Griffey does a little reverse dunk.
My God. You remember Bonds and Griffey wore the same number? I mean, Bonds wore 24 with the Pirates. Griffey, when was his debut? I think he got up to the big leagues in 90.
I had a Don Ross rated rookie.
Yeah,
had a Don Ross rated rookie Griffey Jr. card.
So one of the great athletes to play at Arkansas, and we rarely talk about baseball players as great athletes. I mean, they're baseball players, but a lot of them are really great athletes. I mean, they played a lot of different positions in high school sports, whether it be other sports. Some of them are quarterbacks. Andrew Benintendi was as good an athlete as ever played at Arkansas. He was Class 3A Player of the Year in basketball as a junior. Great basketball, point guard.
Shorter than 6 feet. Like, I think I might be.
He would have gone
about the same height as Benintendi.
He would end up at Kentucky. That's what it would have, or Indiana. I mean, he's that kind of a player. But just 5'10", it's not going to be that. He just figured out. Anyway, so I did this kind of huge takeout piece January of his freshman year, and he gave me some phone numbers of some people back home. I talked to his dad, and then I ended up talking to his high school basketball coach, who was kind of a legend there at the school that he played. I think it was a Catholic school. And then they sent me to talk to the summer league coach in the Connie Mack League that's an 18 and under team that called the Ohio Redskins, major travel team. Still is. And a lot of great players have come through there that Arkansas has taken from the Redskins. So I called that coach, and he says, I'll just tell you about Andrew Benintendi. He said he came down here as a 16-year-old to try out, and his high school coach says, you ought to let him play center field. And he said, well, we've only let one 16-year-old play center field for us, and that was Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh,
and
nice.
so they put Benintendi out there, and he goes, he's a carbon copy, just a natural. So he started as a 16-year-old on a U18 travel program that was good as anybody, and the only other 16-year-old to ever start for them was Griffey.
It's pretty darn
sorry,
good
I had to tell
athlete
my
right there
Griffey
for you, isn't it?
Benintendi story, yeah.
No doubt.
What number's Peyton Holt out there?
He's 24.
See, that's 24. What I was thinking. The little Greenwood athlete
How did you
that's out
remember
there.
that, Matt? I mean,
I don't know
seriously.
what's wrong with me.
Did you just throw a guess? I was about to say. Speaking of really good athletes,
that's
he was
how
a
you
great
debate.
football player,
That's how you debate.
Yeah.
I don't
You have
know.
a
I
great
just
memory. There's
blacked
something about
out.
your
I don't know
memory.
what happened. Yeah.
I don't know about your memory. You just seem to have things that pop in. Oh, it's also back in '98, the longest serving athletics director in major college sports took his job at Oklahoma, Joe Castiglione. I only went back and looked because you see today, Gene Smith, who's the Ohio State athletics director, said he's stepping down at the end of the 2024 athletic season. So, I mean, this is the longest-serving athletics director in the Big Ten. He's been there since 2003, and he's stepping down. That also means he would be one of the architects of the college football playoff, and a guy that's getting out of the business before the AD version of college football starts. Southern California is currently looking for a new athletics director. Heck, they may be looking for a new chancellor after the missteps they took hiring the AD.
I think so.
Ohio State does not have a school president right now. Notre Dame's bringing a new athletics director. It's a whole new group of, I guess, the next generation of college athletics directors. Hunter Yurachek, by the way, remember Hunter? He's been on the job since 2017, more seniority than 9 other SEC athletics directors. Greg in Farmington is called up on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Greg? How are you?
Hey, Matt. Hey, Bill. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hey, Matt, you guys were talking about that win from Texas A&M. Interesting fact about him is he was actually born at Fort Chaffee, just outside of Fort Smith.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently his parents, when everything with the Vietnam War and everything was going on, and they had the refugee camp out at Fort Chaffee, they said it still had the fully functional hospital across the street from the golf course. But yeah, Dat Wynn was born out there.
Did Arkansas recruit him when he was coming out? How? I can't remember who recruited him. Yeah,
I do not remember. I just remember him from the Texas A&M, and then when you guys were talking about number 24s and all that stuff, and Matt brought his name up, and that got me thinking about that because my dad was in the military, and his reserve unit always did their training out at Fort Chaffee.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks, Greg.
So, yeah, I just wanted to call that in.
Yeah, you got it. You only brought that up because we were discussing a former number 24 for Arkansas, Sam Olajubutu, who is 5'8".
Mm-hmm. Stud.
5'8", but
ball player.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, ball player. You're picking him.
How tall was Zach Thomas?
Zach Thomas about 5'8". Dat Wynn's about 5'8" as well. They're not 6 foot guys. Sam Mills too. Old linebacker for the Saints. He was a little guy
James
too.
Harrison. James Harrison, I don't think was 6 feet. I don't think he is 6 feet.
The
He's
greatest
like 5'11".
linebacker to ever play at Arkansas was a guy named Wayne Thumper Harris. Finished around 60 or whatever, 59, 60. About 5'10", about 180 pounds. Played middle linebacker. Then he played at Calgary for about 14, 15 years, best player in Canada. I mean, just wasn't big enough, according to the NFL scouts, to play middle linebacker. But I would say that in today's game, he would still play. He had that kind of speed and that kind of – my dad used to say when Thumper hits you, he hits you all over.
Andy in Bentonville on the McClarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Andy?
What's up, guys? I heard you talking about the A&M. I caught the tail end of that of someone says, what's the word you guys, hinterlands or something like that?
It's the Guardian website, British.
There we go. Well,
I don't know if anybody in the States would use that term.
Yeah, they're from over there across the pond.
Well, you know what? We went over there. My buddy and I traveled the SEC, and that was our 11th SEC football venue. And we both agreed the enemy was probably the nicest we've ever met. The stadium was incredible, and watching those ROTC folks walk in was a pretty good sight. I mean, everything about it was a class act. The bars, the eateries, everything was good. And say opposed to, say, something like Florida. I talked about this with Matt before. It was the biggest dump I've ever seen in my entire life, and I would never go back to that place ever. But on the tail end of this, next time you guys interview Sam Pittman, who comes from Grove, Oklahoma, which you know that, ask him if he ever stepped in the boxing ring over there, because back in the day, that club, they used to have some pretty good fighters out of there and have some national tournaments, and people would come nationwide to it. I'm just wondering if he ever laced up the gloves.
That's where Tommy Morrison came from, right?
He came close to there. He was out of basically it's called Wolf Creek out of Jay. He was out of Jay, Oklahoma, but their club is called Wolf Creek, though.
You're being really specific. That's the same area, yeah.
Same area. There you go. That's it, gentlemen. You guys have a good day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Andy. Yeah, appreciate that. Wow, we're going all the way to Rocky V right with that one, aren't we?
Yep.
It's good stuff on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Here's another Arkansas linebacker sub 6 foot that was pretty good, Grant Morgan. 5'11" on the roster, which means he was a little shorter than that probably.
Man, he never missed tackles. He just didn't.
Before we break, remind you about Roller Funeral Homes. You have voted Roller Funeral Homes best of the best 23 straight years in the Democrat Gazette readership poll because you know that Roller has the roller difference. When you call on Roller, you receive all their respect. RollerFuneralHomes.com, the website for info on life insurance policies, prepaid funerals, and cemetery markers. Quick break, wrap up the show after this.
Before you buy that next
next car or truck. Stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren, the best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Hey, Hog fans, are you game ready? When you want to show your Hog pride, Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike, Nike Golf, Champion, Columbia, plus gifts, accessories, and all your tailgating necessities. Arkansas students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located at North College Avenue, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Check out their latest awesome giveaways on social and alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Razorback fans shop.
Are you feeling the heat this summer with soaring electric bills? Upgrade your AC system with Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric this August and experience the ultimate comfort in your home. This month, receive up to $500 off on attic insulation when you upgrade your AC. That's right, proper attic insulation can significantly reduce your energy bills, keeping your home cooler and more efficient. Worried about the cost? We've got you covered. With approved credit, enjoy payments as low as $99 a month. Picture this. Lower energy bills can help you cover the cost of your new system. Now that's a win-win situation. So don't wait. Call Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric now and save with a new AC system and installation this August. Say goodbye to high electric bills and hello to ultimate comfort. Visit GoPaschal.com now and schedule your free estimate. With approved credit, exclusions apply. See dealer for details. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. With locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock. Or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Frank Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's the 18th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's. Can you eat a monster burger in 150 seconds or less to qualify? Go to hitthatline.com for more details and win a football trip of a lifetime.
I'm getting out of this high-rise penthouse suite where we pretend life's rosy and sweet. I'm going back to the folks that I used to know, where everyone is what they seem to be. And these high-class friends that you like to hang around, when they look my way, they're always looking down. And I'm tired of you spending every dime I make to finance this way of life.
sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Before we end the show, I gotta. You've seen the photos and the pictures coming in from Maui, from Lahaina. Western Maui is being destroyed right now by a giant brush fire.
They don't have that under control yet?
I don't think so.
Phil, the drone footage looks like it's from another planet.
It's frightening, man. Really, I mean, I've seen where hospitals are overwhelmed, 911 is not working, and that's a special place. I mean, the Razorback basketball team was just there for the Maui Invitational in November.
The only escape is the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, people were jumping into the ocean.
What?
In order to avoid the flames, because that's the only option they had left. I honeymooned on the island of Maui. That's a special place. So paradise is no longer paradise, at least for the time being. Going to be a while until it looks like Maui for a long time. So,
guys, you know, I just got back from a fishing trip, Colorado and Wyoming, and one of the places that I fished was a canyon that you walk 3 miles up. I mean, steep walls, 3 miles to get to the dam area, and then you fish your way back. And it's one of the iconic places in the world. Beautiful, wild fish. It's a beautiful hike, very strenuous. It's really famous. 7 days after I left, 2.5 inches of rain in 30 minutes, and the whole mudslide just filled up the canyon.
My gosh.
It's gone.
Well, and it sounds like Lahaina,
Yep.
under different sort of circumstances.
Different thing, yeah.
might be
Natural
gone, too.
disaster.
Tough place to end the show, but that's where we end it. And tomorrow, a lot more on football. Razorbacks. Dave Van Horn spoke to the media, so we'll recap what he spoke of as well. And we'll be back with you tomorrow. Clay, thanks as always. And for Matt Jones and for Matt Travis, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Now get up, get out, and get better.